Hello. I have my tripod. There we go. Whitney Line, what's up? Thomas Wilson. We are live this morning just to say hi with our morning coffee. Now, the reason why I spelled it different is because, number one, I don't know how to spell, and number two, don't want to be accused of being, copycat. Wiggle Wagon, what's up? Jim Jarena, Big Billy. Billy, how's the flatbed life treating you? You should be making some killer money because those rates are up there pretty good right now. Flatbed rates are through the roof. Mo Miles, Jonathan Houston. We had some thunderstorms. I guess I slept through them last night. You know, it's funny when you wake up and you got branches all over the place. You're like, man, what did I sleep through? It's me, Gary. What's up? Kimasabi. Big Rich. How's it going, brother? My notifications for YouTube are just not doing very well. You can hear the tone. Cool. Yeah. That's why I got to get up to heavy haul so you never have to tarp. Stu Manchu. 4K last week. Good deal. I was thinking about you last night coming off Mount Eagle, Tennessee, listening to Peter Frampton. Mont Eagle. That's a pretty stretch to there. I especially like it when I got a light load coming through there. When I was a trainer, I'd always take my trainees down that. My T660 had an excellent jake brake. And I would teach them that when you go down, if you're going eastbound, when you go down the hill, to basically throw it in 7th, and you don't even need touch brakes, especially with 40,000 on. You might have to hit the brakes once, but other than that, I'm able to go down that hill without touching the brakes at all. Got 4-ways on, I'm doing 30 miles an hour. And it's funny watching all these trucks go whoosh, whoosh, and Thomas, how many times have you seen somebody smoking their brakes coming down that hill? It's like, it's not worth the extra, 3 minutes you might save, by going down full speed. Not to mention the ticket. Tennessee DOT do not screw around. Yep. Now, the other thing is that some of the newer trucks, especially 680s, I don't think mine does it, but are set up to where when you let off the gas and you got the jake brake on, the tail lights come on, the brake lights come on. So sometimes it looks like you're riding the brakes going down the hill, but you're really not. But the only time I've ever smoked the brakes was going into Wheeling, West Virginia. There's this big hill on 470 if you're going eastbound. And that was in the Peterbilt, I believe, because I don't know. I don't know. I think I was coming down the hill a bit faster than I was because I wasn't paying attention or something. But there was something different about that run. But I used to run that 470 all the time going to Pennsylvania. So that's the only time I ever smoked the brakes. So that might have been, yeah, that was in the Peterbilt. That was with Landstar. So, but I'm usually pretty good, and I I trained all my trainees to, when you go down that hill, just let your feet off. Because I used to run Mont Eagle all the time. Now, granted, most of the time when I went up and down Mont Eagle, I was light. So, yeah, I like that stretch of 470 there. I like going through Wheeling. I used to do deliveries for Snyder over there in Glendale, and that's a pretty stretch. You know, it's kind of funny because you go through that part of Wheeling and you see the poorer neighborhoods, and then when you get to Glendale, you realize that's a suburb. But the neighborhood I used to deliver in that Glendale, West Virginia, it was just, you can tell it's a lot of retirement, and you know, they're not like these massive $200,000 mansions, but they're nice, well kept, small but very awesome yards and houses. You know, so you can tell it's just a lot of retired people that, you know, they're living comfortably. Eli, your 680 does that. Get comments all the time. Yeah, I had to say that on the CB a couple of times too. It's like, oh, quit riding the brakes, driver. And I'm like, dude, his brake lights come on with the Jake now. Because, you know, I tell people in cars not to tailgate trucks because if they have to slow down and they use their Jake, you're not going to see the taillights, and then you could easily hit them. Oh, 200,000, man. I guess that was kind of a dumb comment, Spoovy. But to me, a $200,000 house is a mansion. So, got my trusty Peterbilt cup. I got coffee, so we're good. Food Mooch, welcome back. My 579 does that with the brakes. Yeah, I think it's a PACCAR thing. I think that you know, they started doing it on the PACCARs, but mine's not set up like that, so it might just be the newer ones. So, but I noticed that Jeff's over there in Lake Superior. That was kind of nice to see that. It's probably pretty country in the summertime. Just like Maine. I've done a few trips to Maine. I like Maine in the summertime. I used to deliver in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and then pick up either a load of canoes or a load of forks, plastic forks, spoons, knives, plastic cutlery, going to Kansas City. The canoes would go to Springfield for Bass Pro when we used to run Bass Pro. But so we're picking up a load today in Joplin, and we're heading down to Arkansas with it. You get water out of Maine? Yeah. Like I said, the canoes, that was a good load because it's nice and light. Of course, plastic cutlery was too. The plastic cutlery was a drop and hook, actually. And if you delivered in Foxborough or Boston, that was mainly how they got the drivers out of there. Now, I remember the first time I picked up there, I go into the shipping office and I get the usual, like, who the hell are you look, you know? And the guy's like, oh, Transland. Oh, I'm like, what? You know? Oh, you're actually on time. And he starts venting to me about how my company is always late. Okay, I get it. Don't shoot the messenger, right? So, I called up my dispatcher and told him, you need to tell customer service, and I told the guy I would do this. Call customer service and tell them that we're about to lose this account. Okay? So, a few months later, I'm delivering at Foxborough, and I get this, or no, I was actually delivering in Mechanicsburg. and I get this message, hey, I need a favor. Now, whenever your dispatcher says the words, hey, I need a favor, you know something's up, right? He goes, you need to drop your trailer over at Bass Pro in Foxborough, and then I need you to pick up the last empty at this customer in Maine. I'm like, okay, no big deal. So I dropped the trailer in Foxborough, and I go up to Maine, and it's that cutlery place. And I guess we'd lost the account. So I was like, sometimes I'm right. But yeah, when I went in there, it's like, hey, I'm here to pick up the trailer. Like, yeah, cool, good riddance, get out of here. It's over there. So and then they loaded me with something out of Pennsylvania, and I went home. But that's kind of a constant in trucking. There are accounts lost and won all the time. You know, these guys at Schneider that are running the same freight all the time, all of a sudden it disappears. You know, some of them do go to company drivers, but a lot of times it's because Schneider lost the account. That happened actually here in Springfield. There's a pallet place. There's 2 pallet places we pick up and deliver, or Schneider. I'm not Schneider anymore. Anyways, and one of them, they're real nice, you know, and they're live loads and live unloads, you know. But the other one, which is literally across the street, I go in there and the dude was just like, you know, they're supposed to have a truck here 2 days ago. I'm like, it was put on my board this morning. I just grabbed this, you know. And I'll get to the comments here in a second, Thomas. So I told the guy that, you know, so we started talking about the logistics side of what I dealt with and what he dealt with and everything. And the reason why Schneider got that account was because Swift was dropping the ball. So he gave me his number so that I could call to see when loads were going to pop up on the board and when, you know, if I could come in early if he had the load ready. And so he treated me with a bit of respect because I gave him customer service. You know, I was like, hey, you know, I apologize, I'll do this, you know, whatever. And a friend of mine that was at Schneider, he called me up and goes, hey, man, you ever picked up this pallet? I said, yes. Tell him you know me. Tell him you know Steve from Schneider and with the green truck. He'll know. And he said that he came in, the guy was all rude with him, and then once he told him that he knew me, he was like, oh, okay, well, you're one of the good ones. Well, eventually, I needed an empty in the area, and Schneider sent me to there, and I picked up their last trailer there. So that's happened more times than not in the companies I've driven for, where I've picked up the last trailer because, you know, they've lost the account. Thomas asked, can you do one from start to finish booking a load if you can? Also, maybe on dirty tricks done to you by brokers. Thomas, I can't really do a live or a video while I'm calling the brokers, because imagine if you called me and then later on you see that you were on YouTube and you didn't know it. See how that, you know, and I don't want to be known like that. There's another company out there, I won't say who it is, that their drivers have done that. And you don't want to get known as a bad reputation. Now, as far as the dirty tricks that brokers use, that's a little bit why I'm picky, because I try to avoid the scenarios in which the brokers have to be tricky. I can go over how I negotiate, you know, and that's pretty easy. There's a process that I use that is specific to like trucking because we have to make sure that any broker that we pick is factorable through Thunder Fund. So every single broker I call, I have to check their MC number with the factoring network and to make sure that their credit is approved before I can haul their load. And what that does is that's had a big list. Now, we at the company have talked about making a list of the brokers that have done shady stuff to us. That way, if a certain broker does something to Roscoe or to Harold or to Jeff, then we know, then the others know maybe not haul for them. Even though if their credit's good or whatever, and of course we won't make that public because we don't want to be known as one of those companies that bashes brokers on YouTube. Really like the video 123, very informative. That's my weakness. I have no knowledge since I've been a company driver all these years. It's a little bit intimidating, Thomas. Jeff did a really good 123 low board video. So maybe search that out. Professor, what's up? Yeah, James, I got a load. I'm going to that place in Joplin that you and I had talked about before, that you just picked up at. Yeah, and like, there was a video out there of a guy who called into a company wanting to apply. And again, I'm not going to say the name of the company. And in the middle of the conversation, the driver was dealing with something. He cursed real loud and he would start griping out somebody there on the radio or on the phone. And then he went back to the conversation. And the video was titled, How Not to Apply for XYZ Company, whatever it was. And I thought that was really shady because I would hate to think that if I called for a job somewhere to a company that I wanted to work for or be contracted to, that my phone call is going to be put on live YouTube. It was a bad move. And then there's other PR stuff that happens with this company that kind of makes me question. I've had a lot of people say, hey, what do you think about this company? And I said, well, their PR is not that great. So I would hate to call. Now, when you call a broker or brokerage or certain companies and they say your phone call is recorded, they tell you up front. And in some states, it's illegal for the person to be unknowingly recorded. And to me, that's bad business, Now, there's been times that I've called Jeff and I was live on YouTube and he tells me, he goes, hey, by the way, you're live on YouTube. I'm like, oh, cool. But it's not like I call Jeff and he's not telling me that I'm on YouTube and then we just have our conversation, unknowingly in front of the world. So that's a bad PR move. And you can't, these brokers, you don't want to be on their do not haul list, or do not use list is what they have. Because once your trucking company has a bad rep, it's tougher to get loads. And the tougher it is to get loads, the tougher it is to negotiate that money. Or they're like, oh, okay, we'll let them pull our stuff, but $300 less than everybody else. So you have to really watch that. We're in the public eye. So Arkansas. I'll call you later, James. So. But before we do our morning coffee in my Peterbilt cup, we were in CDL class, and where they like to take all the CDL students is in Springfield is take them down O Highway, which is Kearney Street, and then they take them around the industrial park around French's Mustard, that area. We were in that area and we dropped by the Peterbilt dealership, and this gal that was kind of rich. Her husband had a really good job and she had money and she was just learning to be a truck driver for the fun of it. I doubt she's still driving. Anyway, she bought me this cup just for no reason. Oh, James needs a coffee maker in his truck. Maybe I'll buy you one since you gave me the fridge. Tell you what, James, next time you're Springfield, I'll buy you a coffee maker. I'll even get you a Keurig if that's the route you want to go. So we're just doing our morning coffee. I can't start too early, even though I know the shipper will load me early, but my set appointment time's for 7:45 tonight. But there is a truck stop literally across the street, and I'll look for something leaving out tomorrow morning. So it's a straight through delivery, not a bad rate. My normal stuff coming out of Springfield wasn't there today. Need a fridge. I got a friend of mine that just went into Kentucky and went to Truck Fridge. He got one installed there. It's a possibility, Big Rich. I'm a little bit south. I'll be in Arkansas, so morning YouTube info. So we're just hanging out. I like these mornings where I can hang out with the family in the morning. They're all, my wife's taking my kid to school and my other kid's already gone to school. So, but it's cool to be able to wake up with them and do this. And with me being home a little bit more often now, I'm still losing weight. So that's good. I'm down another 3 or 4 pounds. So when you're on 123, can you search for a certain load as DA from a logistics company brokering their own loads? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Like a certain broker or a certain load? When you're on, can you search for certain loads from a logistics company brokering their own loads? I'm not sure what you're asking there. If you're looking for a specific like Pepsi has their own logistics though. So most companies like French's Mustard or Pepsi, they use different brokers, and that broker will have all their freight. So through time, you learn which broker has which freight. When like I see a certain broker in my area and I see Springfield to wherever, I know what that is because they're the ones that handle all the freight coming out of this one particular company. Then you got companies like Pepsi, which are actually brokered through Pepsi themselves, but also, like I think there's local truck companies that, like Prime, that will broker their freight as well. So it's kind of like the Snyder board. You tend to learn what loads are what just by looking at the locations. Springfield, there's like maybe 4 or 5 main shippers here, so I pretty much know what it's going to be. Usually I can tell by the weight. If it's over 45,000, it's going to be this. If it's under 30,000, it's going to be that. And if it's about 35,000, it's going to be that. And then also I can tell by the broker. So Miami, Oklahoma, there's only a couple of shippers there. If it's heavy, it's the mulch and sod. If it's light, then it's the gas cans that CPAP did. Now in the flatbed, that's the other thing. A lot of guys don't realize this, but if you see a load that says van or flatbed and it says 45 plus or 46,000 pounds, that's going to be mulch, lumber, sod, dirt, maybe pallets if it's lighter. So those are going to be heavy loads, and then usually you're going to be picking up something that's been outside. If it's over 45, you can guarantee it's going to be Pepsi. Well, yeah, but Pepsi Logistics also owns Frito-Lay. So if you see something from Pepsi Logistics and it says 10,000 pounds, that's chips. So, and depending on where you live, if there's a Frito-Lay plant in your area, like Topeka, I want to say Neosho or Joplin. I think one of those has a, you know, Frito-Lay. Um, and Schneider had a lot of Frito-Lay stuff. Joplin, is it Joplin? So those are the Pepsi loads to get. My only complaint with Pepsi is that you could be on hold for 10, 15 minutes. And when I'm looking for a load, I don't play that game. So they also own Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. Yeah, they own a lot of stuff. Lafayette, Indiana, Frito-Lay. 10,000 pounds, great MPG, potato chips. But, however, in the live load world, most of those are loaded on the floor. So that means that it might take a while to load. The very first load I did at Landstar was a Frito-Lay load out of Indiana there, just north of Indy. And they got me loaded in, I think it was like 2.5, 3 hours. And the unloading took an hour. I was surprised. I went to Aurora, Illinois. But other chip companies will palletize them. They're not too bad. I think the worst one was, I think I delivered in somewhere in Illinois, and it was like a 4-hour live unload. But that was with Schneider. So, and that's the other thing. If you look at the loads, like Uber and Convoy will say it a lot, Coyote as well, they'll have on there that this will take a long time to live unload or load. So you can always tell what those loads are because they'll put a whole bunch of stuff in the comments about, about detention time and all that stuff. So that tells me that more than likely, it's going to take a while. Now, the other thing is I've been avoiding loads that come to a certain grocery warehouse here in Springfield. Because if you guys have been following me a while, I didn't do a 6-hour live marathon like Roscoe did, but I did do like 4 different little live feeds, and I was there for like 10 hours at that place. That was when I was still at Snyder. And I'm surprised, Snyder wasn't set up as a drop and hook in that place. Because there's a couple local companies that I've worked for that are. So I'm a little bit careful. So I always ask who the customer is. And I believe there's only a couple of brokers that won't tell you who it is. It's their policy. They'll tell you the product, the weight, the times, everything, but they won't tell you the customers because they don't want anybody else snagging those loads. So, understandable. Our company brokers their own loads. Veritiv Logistics. What's the... Thomas Wilson, you ought to text me their MC number. And see, and if they're good on their payment, then, when you're out on your own, you can essentially work their stuff. So, most trucking companies have their own factoring services. Or not factoring, brokerage services. Let me rephrase that. Most trucking companies have their own brokerages. That's how they cover the loads that their own trucks can't cover. So, but anyways, coffee's good. I just wanted to chat with you guys this morning. And CPAP, what's up? But my wife's getting ready to come home, hang out with her before I have to leave. I'm leaving here about 5-10 minutes. And that's it. So thanks for watching, and have a good day. Be good to each other.